Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Sweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be just great with our neighbors, and it can be so lovely by ourselves. It can be a pillar of the community, and it can be a hermit under a bridge, under a bridge. I don't know, society norms and whatnot. Anyway, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hi. Okay. So this episode is frustrating. I mean, it's all around frustrating. There were some good hits that happened, or good moments that happened, I guess. So let's just jump in and get into that. So first couple is Luke and Medellin.
Oh my Jesus.
So she's giving her dog a facial. And I just was really worried about that dog's eyes because those nails. I don't trust her at all with those nails. I think that she's hurting the dog, she's hurting herself, she's stubbing it, she's doing all kinds of manner of things with them nails.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I think that aesthetically, and just like she can't spell beauty, some other things she can't quite do with beauty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All around, it's not the easiest word for her to act out / write.
Yeah. But I do think that she's rather smart for someone that's 19. She's rather headstrong and knows what she wants for somebody that's 19. Because when she says, "I'm not going to let him take me down with him," I was like, that's
Oh
really
yeah,
smart. Yeah, it's great.
yeah, for sure.
So they go on a date and he's like, "We're used to popping bottles and doing whatever when we go on when our dates are fabulous, but I want to do something cheap, and that's still fun." And so he takes her to a coffee uh farm, and on the way there he tells her about what he's done with $10,000 for the glasses company that he's just so, I mean this man, all of his business ventures he really thinks are worthwhile. And he's done a lot of them. He's done a lot of business ventures that I just am like, do we need one more sunglass maker? Do we need that? Is that what's needed?
All of his business ventures are aesthetic. His jewelry, his sunglasses, like her beauty store or whatever. Like, it's so funny for someone who's smart. I'm like, why don't you fucking invest in a startup, invest in fucking something in tech, you smart guy, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I don't know, invest in something that's going to do something. Now I'll be honest. I like the sunglasses.
The lifestyle brand is like wild to me. Now his
Yeah.
sunglasses I liked,
Yeah, they
but
were better
to
than his
me,
jewelry and the better than
yeah,
her beauty shop. Like, of all the
yeah,
things so far, I do like the one sunglasses I saw on that man's head. And that's the sweet part of this episode.
yeah. But the thing is like they're such thin framed, and they don't. He's like everything is like luxury and like high class and the best, and I'm like, but they still look like you could have got them from Claire's. Like they don't look
Oh.
like they don't they don't look like anything special or different. I don't know. I just would have liked to see those prototypes. It wasn't giving what it needed to give. But she found out that he spent $10,000 and didn't tell her. And so she's now pissed at him as they're driving on this beautiful countryside. And she's like, "Don't touch me." And so she's pissed the whole time with the coffee making scheme, with the coffee farm. And then he wants her to use one of those tools that this whole time I thought my dad was the only person who's ever had one of those tools. I didn't know. I mean, I knew what they were for digging holes, but I didn't understand why my dad had one. You know what I mean? Just like he's had, I feel like my dad has every single tool that ever existed in gardening and in building a house. Like he just has all, and that was one of the tools. And so I was like, mine growing up was so old that if you tried to use it without gloves, you got splinters because the handles were
Was
wood.
wood.
And so the whole time I'm like, is she gonna get a splinter? I was having a little bit of flashback. She needed gloves to get into that soil. And so she gets in, but she's very annoyed the whole time. She's like,
Yeah. I mean, straight up, listen, can you imagine having to, even though the nails are long, within her skin and the acrylic bed or whatever it is, it's like dirt's getting underneath there. Like, it's getting to the callus. You know what I'm saying? It's going all the way inside. It's just too much for her. Like, I wouldn't like that either. But I just
mhm,
love the way she says monies.
mhm,
It's
mhm,
like
mhm,
everything is like, you're spending all of our monies, which is
mhm.
it's definitely his monies. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But you do deserve it. But whatever. He's just like, yeah, to earn money, you have to spend money.
And I feel
Which
like my businesses are like a lottery ticket and one of them's gonna hit. And I was like, that's not. That's I don't think you should no. I don't think you should do that.
That is I you know, that's so interesting because I'm gonna be honest, like, I think as a person that lives in LA, I think that a lot of LA types feel like they have different projects, and those different projects are like multiple bingo cards or like lottery tickets happening at once, and at just at the right time, one of them's gonna hit, you know? And so when he said that, it was like, yeah, I had like a flash of like, "Oh, fuck," you know, where I just, like, see yourself a little bit, you're just like, "Oh, oof, no."
Yeah,
No,
you
I
like,
mean,
I
yeah,
know that guy, you know that guy, we all know
yeah, I
that
do, and
guy.
I do, and it's just yeah, he is not and this is funny because he is a nerd, a
Mhm.
smart nerd that is obsessed with the physical and
Yeah.
obsessed with aesthetics, and like, all of his things are so, like, beauty or vapid or, like, shallow, you know, like, luxe items that, like, have no meaning. Even he's just like, "Your luxury," like, you're not even say that they're let's just say at all f- let's just say fair trade or like bespoke or done from whatever. You can say a bunch of things. You can have a bunch of businesses. We just like you can really understand a person's culture and how they carry themselves, like what they choose to invest in or whatever, their time, energy, anything. You can really get into that. But at the same time, he just keeps trying to spend his money on things that he likes to look at and make him feel good.
Mhm.
Her
Mhm.
business, everything is he's it's like a little obsessive.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't you get on the ground floor and start with something that is actually gonna give you returns, and then maybe go into the more risky things. But like, no, he's like risk, risk, riskety risk. Like, that lifestyle brand is so stupid. Like, to me, you only have a lifestyle brand if you already have something established as you're selling you. Like, you can't have a lifestyle brand if no one knows who you are. And boo boo, nobody knows who you are. So she's
Well,
like, I'm mad at him for a lot of things. It's like him lose his job and didn't tell me, and then he spent $10,000 on glasses, and now he's making me mess up my nails, and I hate the farm. And I'm like, listen, these are reasons to be mad at him, and you're absolutely valid. So then they
mhm.
go to do some like exfoliating massage, which I was mad that they had to do it to each other. I didn't
Y
trust him rubbing coffee grounds on me.
Abso-fucking-lutely not, like, I was like at first I was like, "Well, this is a cheap date, at least there's a spa thing," and then I realized there's not a spa thing.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
They just
mm-mm.
have leftover coffee grinds that they're not using, and
Mhm,
producers like, "Hey, hey, hey, just give us a
mhm,
bunch of that. We're just gonna, like, over here, set up, like, a table,
mhm.
and we're gonna make them rub each other down. Don't you worry." And the people are like, coffee
Yeah,
grinds. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And it's like, yeah. Then he's like, "Who goes first, me or you?" You know? And he'd be like,
She's
"I'll tell you, I go and you don't ever go."
me, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going and nunca you, never you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. And then she, like, gets up and walks into some lagoon in order to, like, rinse off, and I didn't trust that water, not at all. But before that, she finds out that he's not actually gonna stay in Colombia this time, and it's like, the way he says it is like, okay, baby, so what's gonna happen is I don't think I can stay this time." And I was like, "What do you
Mm,
mean you don't think you can stay?" It's just so disgusting the way he's saying it to her. "No, baby, I can't stay because I have things I gotta do." And I'm like, in my mind, I wanna know what? What do you have to do?
you're right. He just keeps saying that he's taking money out of his 401k or whatever, and it's like you're just gonna take more money out of your 401k because at some point we have to assume it's cheaper for you to live for free in the house you're already
Mhm,
paying for than
mhm,
wherever you're living, and
mhm.
it's just cheaper to live down there anyway. Let's just remember she can run a whole business on $700 a month, which is great for the like I just if you have money, let's make it stretch. But yeah, at the same time, she does not sound that surprised and or hurt and or upset by this.
Yes.
She does feel like she A knew it was coming,
Mhm.
B because the producers told her she it's like planned, or but mostly C that she's fine not having to like have them all the time, especially if the checks are coming.
Well, she says that she doesn't know how long she can do it because, she doesn't wanna wait for him. I'm like, "Girl, you're like nothing teen years old. Like, you have a little time to wait. You're not like 45 on the cusp of losing all your eggs." Like, it's like the way she says that, I was like, "Oh, you don't love him," which is like, I knew she didn't, but like now I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you don't. You're like on to the next." you're like, I need to start looking for another rich person. I've gotten used to this life. Who's going to help me take care of this dog? Like my family all thinks that I'm wealthy. I post on Instagram that I can't let this life go down. I got these titties. Let's make some money.
I feel you.
So yeah, that's where she's going now. She doesn't know how long she's gonna wait. Like, girl, okay. This next couple, Adriano and Alex, is infuriating to me. Once this episode ended, I was like, oh, I can't watch anything else that they put out because there's so much that Alex, there's two major things that Alex has an issue with that he like doesn't care about, or like the threesomes and the Christianity.
Mhm.
She's crazy for the Christianity part. If Christianity is that big of a deal in your life, to where your cousin who's traipsing around Europe randomly, it comes in and visits you and immediately starts talking about whether or not you love the Lord and what about your kids, and the stuff that he, like the microaggressions that Black people receive every day, and he tells her to suck it up. No, I can't.
Mhm.
When she said those things, I was like, oh, you can't be with him, therapist lady who should know better.
She's being digmatized. She's been digmatized, and that's what it is. Like, she is just in
Mm.
pheromone f attraction, infatuation with him. She just is sexually obsessed with him. I think that that's what it is. I think that she's just wildly attracted to him. I think that he is wildly attracted to her, which she feels, which only, of course, fuels this kind of like deep sexual connection between her, so much so that her rational brain is not is being shushed by how loud her vagina is screaming at her. And I think that it's just watching her deal with it and then having to deal with it through the eyes of Tiffany is like it's where you realize that like it's not looking good on camera now. Like, I think that every part before this was like this fantasy love story with this brown-haired muscular Fabio, but having Tiffany there and having Tiffany hear that, and then also realizing that Tiffany's hearing it, the world's hearing it, and when he says the microaggressions, I think that she's smart enough to be like, "Fuck me." But literally fuck me, but I fucked myself. I mean, I feel so bad for her.
There's just, I don't feel bad for her. There's so much. He
I
wants to
mean,
go to Australia. She doesn't want to go to
I
Australia.
know, I
Like,
know.
there's so much. The microaggressions is the
Oh.
craziest thing. She's like, we're gonna have Black children. He's like, I'm okay with that. And she's like, but what are you gonna say when someone tells them that they're different? That they and he's like, well, listen, everybody has the things that they get made fun of. I'm out. Eh, like, you are now just relegated to sex friend, and I will come visit you not even once a year. I don't know. Like, Australia is so far away to me, and I like I said in the last episode, I don't want to go there. So like, to me, it's just like, bye, like, done. And so it just is crazy. And then, like, I don't like the reaction when the guys are like, oh, I was just being interrogated. I think that's so mamsy pamsy. I don't like that complaint from men.
I disagree because it did feel that way. Like,
It was that. I just don't like I don't like when men complain about it.
I just, at the same time, listen, it's sad because they had to have this very intense, very dramatic conversation. I mean, at this gorgeous Italian dinner in this gorgeous place, you're just somehow, I'm just like, oh my God, none of this is being enjoyed by anyone here, especially not him, especially not her and Tiffany, maybe. I'm hoping, but like, look at the ravioli, look at the penne pasta, you know what I'm saying? Just like looked at like, I don't know what, like, I mean, it's just like, it's sad to me because yeah, but I mean, it was an interrogation, definitely not a beautiful dinner. And he's Italian, so he's used to just enjoying food and enjoying a meal. But yeah, that was not an enjoyable meal, for
It
him.
wasn't.
I know, but I'll tell you that it didn't stop Alex and Adriano from just, I mean, fucking like rabbits later. Like, but I'm hoping that when Alex was doing it, she was like, Alex is going to walk away with this and she's not going to be with him. And I think that she's going to give her one last hurrah, but I think this is the episode we saw her die on the inside.
Yeah. She can, yeah, she can't. This is like, it was just, it's yeah, crazy. Okay. Now we have Kyle and Annie, and they are going to be on a boat looking at beautiful scenery, which is so annoying to me. Like, I don't want that date. This is now the second date or second time we've seen her on the water. You know, like it's just like, what is this all they have to offer?
Yeah,
Malta?
well, it's an island, like, yeah, isn't there, like, a hike or isn't there, like, beautiful what is yeah, they're always on the water. She's always
Yeah,
in, like, a pleated, like, pant.
yeah.
Oh my god, she loves his new pants. "Look at your new trouser." You're just like,
And then I look at them and I was like, those ugly ass baggy jeans. Like, what do you
yeah.
mean new trousers? Did he buy them, or did I don't know this?
No, I know, but this is we already knew that he this was a great episode for him. It always would be like we
Yeah.
always called that those shorts were too small, and now I realize like you
Now we know
said such
why.
an astute thing. You were like
Yeah.
you straight up were like it's like he has gained weight and he refuses to get smaller clothes or bigger clothes, which is I felt like when you said it was so specific and absolutely nuanced to like the T, and then he adds a layer on top, which is that like yes or no, maybe, but on top of that, he wears smaller clothes because it makes his muscles pop and he looks either bigger or whatnot. And I've never heard him. I mean, I guess I small shirts on muscular men, like you see it comical on sometimes for like big ones, but I've never seen a smaller shirt on like a non-muscular man, like not on a fat man, not on like a chubby man, like I guess like even like skinny guys when they're in like t-shirts, I feel like you don't really see a lot of skinny tees on skinny guys because really skinny guys, the skinny tees are still a little baggy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Listen, I'm not trying to fat shame, but like men's fashions are so wild to me and how they pick it is so bananas. I don't know. I just don't understand it as well as I like assume women's fashions to be in my mind. So him just being like, yeah, I want my arms to look bigger. And I'm like,
They don't. They don't look bigger because they're not
yeah, what
big.
is
They don't look bigger because they're not big.
you look like
So
you're in small clothes. That's all I can
yeah,
tell you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he gets on this boat though, and he doesn't take off his socks. So he's on this boat, which is bound to have water on the deck, with his socks on.
What
And
socks?
so we just don't know. He doesn't know anything. So he gets on as a world traveler. He's
Soaking
really
wet
dumb.
sponge socks is
Sucks.
what he
And
steps
they
on
start
right
to
now.
eat, and he does the point system again, and he's like, you get a kiss, and they kiss, and he's like, no tongue, no tongue. And the reason why you said it last time, he's really trying to set up a scenario in which his relationship with Annie is different than the women that he tries to get pregnant naturally. And so she's like, listen, oh my god, he's so, besides his awkward moments, I could see the cute part of him that I really got into. And then their next scene is when they go clothes shopping and they annoy the fuck out of that sales clerk. She is just like, we all heard that you like extra small. Yeah, we heard you. Thank you. That was the coldest read we have ever gotten from a salesperson. And I need them to do all of their let's go be awkward in front of a salesperson shopping trips in Malta for that reaction. It was great. It was
Yeah.
great.
Can I say one thing about the point system? Like, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. He's like, suddenly, like, you have 3 points. She's like, really? What? From what? And he's like, well, you're not drinking now, or since had this once. And he is like made up, and he's like, she's like, okay, well, what does that get me? And he's like, a kiss. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at one point he could be like, well, guess you have 75 points. She's like, how did I get them? It's like at midnight. Remember how like the points meant nothing? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It feels that way where he's like, and now we can fuck without a condom and I'll give you a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
well, how did I get those points? Where you looked at me the other day. You can make up whatever it is. You breathed.
Arbitrary.
Yeah, I mean, it's so arbitrary. And I mean, she toggles between being absolutely conscious of how bananas he is and being like this person deserves some pause and some caution, and then somehow full throttle going into that kiss, you know what I'm saying, and asking for more in a way that I would think not a lot of women would after
Yeah.
this point. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like she seems too normal, but maybe that's old fashioned term. She seems too neuro s- just blah to be with someone so neuro bananas. You know what I'm saying? She's neuro blah and he's neuro bananas. Is that bad?
I'm not going to join you in that part of the conversation,
Okay.
but yeah, I just think that she is so weird for this behavior. Like
Yeah,
to me,
sure.
she is the weird one in this. Like he's weird, but he's obviously been that the whole time, and I can't
Yes,
imagine what conversation they were having via Skype or phone or FaceTime or whatever. But
that's true.
like she then gets so upset with him because he's like, I'm not gonna stop having sex with women to get them pregnant. And she's like, why do you owe the world this service? And I don't want my boyfriend doing that. And she gets so upset and she walks away. And I'm just like, you are the one, Annie. You are the one that's making the choice. It's the same thing with Alejandro and Alex. It's like this man has presented himself as the person that he is, and you are choosing to ignore that.
I have one question.
Mhm.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay?
Stop
Are
it.
you okay?
Stop it. I can't listen to you. I can't listen to you sing that song. I can't listen to it.
Annie, are you okay?
First of
That's
all,
Britney
Smooth
singing it.
Criminal is my most favorite Michael Jackson song.
Are
My
you okay,
favorite.
Annie? Okay, so here we are. Let's move on. Aaliyah and Sean. Oh my
Oh
God,
god.
honey. Aaliyah and Sean just
Sean just is, I mean, he just really wants to be a 90 Day Fiance villain, and he kind of looks like one naturally. So that is fine. We start off with him cleaning the apartment because he's like, "Oh yeah, now that Aaliyah is Aaliyah, the girl is just so messy and has all their stuff everywhere and the hair." And I'm like, "The hair you bought her," and Bosepi is just sitting, in the mix, and it's just like this whole shit. And then we get the travel book, and Sean's like, "Oh, this was so sweet," and like, "What are we gonna do now? Because it says Douglas in here. How do we resolve that?" And I'm like, first of all, this is not even your travel book.
yeah. Mhm.
It's Aaliyah's.
Mhm.
So like, what are you even worried about that for? And Sean just really shows his colors in this episode, and it is
Yes.
not good. They're not good colors. They're gray. They're
Mhm.
muddled.
Mhm.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Like blood brick red. Yeah, I mean, it's confusing, because he's just baiting her, and so she's like, "I have to change it, because I'll just," and that's very easy to do. So what a weird what a weird question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and I think that if that is meant to happen for this next part to happen, which is her to be like, "Look, bitch, Aaliyah is now here. I am the captain now. No more Douglas." I mean, then that's what fucking had to happen, And I think that Sean, this is where, I mean, Sean doubles down on being, to me, like boomer-esque or whatever in his way of not seeing anything but his perspective,
Mm-hmm.
layered with how selfish it sounds, which is
Mm-hmm.
just, it's just that I liked you better when you,
Mm-hmm.
like, didn't talk ever, and I didn't really have to care about your feelings. I didn't have to hear them. You didn't say them to me. You had no opinions. You just blinked, you know what I'm saying, over there and smiled sometimes. Those were the days.
My
Like
hot
like
boy toy that I could show all my other boomer gays back at home. And I don't have that anymore. Now I have this person who has feelings and wants clothing and hair and is a woman, which I already did that. Remember, I'm bisexual. What is like, no, Sean, you were never heterosexual. And you're definitely not bisexual, because bisexual people can be with either gender. It's not like a season of their life where they're like, in this season, I want women. And then the next season, I want men. Like just like, you were gay the whole time. And now you want to live your fantasy with your boy toy on different coasts, different beautiful islands. And it's now been taken away from you. And you don't want it. So just end it and let Aaliyah live her life.
Yeah, it's weird to me because he's so obsessed with gender that he doesn't even see that there is one person there, and you can't even be like, to me, like, if in my idea of like a pansexual, if you were just like, I can see that the spirit that I had with the person I was with has like evolved or changed, or just maybe I didn't see all the facets. This person wasn't comfortable with me. As we get to know each other, I now realize we're different souls. None of that's the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Which everything I just said right now could be said to any relationship you've had. People evolve all the time. People change. As you get to know someone more, you see different sides that maybe they have kept hidden, or maybe they weren't as comfortable with you, and their own social situations with their friends. You get to see them on different visceral levels. They haven't been dating that long, and they're different countries. So it's, of course, to me, rational that as your relationship develops, you can see, in fact, that it's not a match. But every part of him reacts to this situation in regards to either Aaliyah's gender, or whatever, like Aaliyah's, like, I don't know, persona, in such a way
Yeah.
that it doesn't feel authentic to the person that Sean should have been attracted to, which is just
Yes.
that person's soul, Aaliyah and Douglas's soul, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The person that
Yeah.
is that person on the inside. And I
Yep.
think that I'm so happy because Aaliyah knows that it's really fucked up that
Mhm.
Sean says those things to her, which
Mhm.
it makes me happy that she's not
Yeah.
like, "Then it makes me sad." Like, she could have been like, "Makes me sad that Sean doesn't see, blah blah blah." But like, Aaliyah's like, and not that it doesn't, but Leah was like, "No, that fucking was weird."
That's weird that you only liked me when I was quiet and shy and didn't talk very much. And now you don't like me because I'm happy and I'm like excited. So that's really really I'm clocking in, and it's very interesting. Also, just so you know, Douglas is dead. So there's that. And I was like, thank God, Aaliyah, like really stand on 10 toes down, I'm here for it.
Yes.
So whoo, guys. So that's the end of the episode. And thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to see the visuals of what you are listening to, you can join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You get some goodies like a live every first Monday of the month and other such amazing stuff. So if you want to support us, you want to join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties, please do so. But if you can't do that, Chris will tell you another way to support us. Chris?
Well, listen, we want to keep in touch with you. We want to have a travel book with our names into it. So you can go to our Instagram at DocuSweeties, follow and like us there, or on TikTok at DocuSweeties, at DocuSweeties1 on X, at DocuSweeties, the podcast Facebook group. And at the same time, if you haven't given us 5 stars and a helpful review, just telling us how much we're amazing. And I mean, just really complimenting our singing skills and how I snort
Mhm.
when I laugh, all of it. Really, really
Mhm.
do that. I consider doing it for us on any sort of platform you listen to this podcast on. Other than that, we'll talk to you later, and we love you. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.